right. This is the second attempt at us trying to go live because first time I forgot to press record and everything just fucked up. I'm assuming we get sound right now. I'm hoping it does. Just fucked up. And seems good. Levels look good. All right, and welcome to this week's Gaming Blues podcast, the show with two polar opposite gamers trying to bicker about gaming news topics and other topics that come on my head during my daily commute. See, if I don't write things down, my intros are crap.
Wait, are you starting now? I haven't started Audacity.
Well, too bad. We can sync it later. All right, my name is Andy, your host for this show, and to my left is Darren McPhail, who forgot to press record on Audacity.
We didn't clap. There was no talk. You just started without my consent or permission.
Buddy, I can start whenever I want. This is my show.
I mean, you can. It's more editing work for you.
All right, this week, a lot of things happened over in the land of the gaming, mostly because one of the biggest gaming fighting game tournaments actually finished, the Evolution tournament. And a lot of gaming news have been announced because it seems like the trend is any fighting game news, you try to push it towards EVO and you don't actually try to present it during E3 or any other gaming conventions. So here's my question for you after following up on our last week's podcast, which you can hear it on Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes, Podbean, and whenever they feel like adding me, Stitcher. And the VODs will be up on youtube.com. Search for Last Blues TV. The VODs will be up there, and I will be uploading this episode right after it's done and within the couple of days. Yeah, my intro still needs work, but I'm getting there. So, Darren. Did you actually watch EVO?
I watched bits and pieces like a good boy.
We actually did our top 3 picks for like which tournament will be the most interesting to us. Whoa, that's scary. Did your top 3 games actually meet your expectations?
The better question is if I actually watched my top 3 games.
You just said you watched bits and pieces.
I watched bits and pieces. They weren't necessarily the games I was like, ooh, these are the ones I'm really excited to watch.
See, what's the point of doing these things if you're not going to actually do your homework?
Well, things came up. You know how it goes.
Great. Okay, from the bits and pieces you watched, what was the most hype for you for this year's EVO?
I think Tekken's always been really, really consistent. It's always been good. Mm-hmm. It's never really disappointed. It's always hyped to watch. And I only caught bits and pieces of Fighter Z, but obviously I got to see the finals like in a after the broadcast, and the finals were great. Sonic Fox versus Goichi is always good fun.
After the finals, people actually uploaded the overall compilation of the two, I will say, players' history over the years. And surprisingly, Goichi didn't, after beating him initially in that first to 10, like the exhibition match they hosted after Goichi and Sonic Fox went like head to head on Twitter. After that, Goichi didn't beat Sonic Fox at all. It came really down to the wire at last year's EVO. But Goichi actually finally took it in this year's EVO. And if you actually saw him, like all the reactions are like, you can just search it up on Twitter, you'll find all the footage. Like he was shook, man.
Yeah, he was. I think he was kind of in disbelief because at least in Fighter Z, Sonic Fox is like this god. He's been this untouchable god. But I think, did Eduardo Hook Game God, did he win the summit?
He.
When they had the
yes,
Dragon
he
Ball
did.
Z,
He won the summit. Yeah, he won the summit.
Yeah. So like outside of that, it's pretty much always been Sonic Fox winning every major.
Mm-hmm. And Kazunoko was also up there being like one of the... He literally overtook majority of the tournaments in 2019 for Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
He almost could have won EVO, but...
Dude's a beast.
Yeah. But that being said, I honestly thought being on a Saturday slot, the Dragon Ball, like the finals, wouldn't be as grandiose as it was. given
Right.
that it's been pushed back by a lot of other bigger titles and titles that have been like granted their like Sunday slots for the first time. But it goes to show that Dragon Ball is still one of the most hypest fighting games to watch in the FGC.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is everyone losing their spot to Smash.
I
Like
mean,
that pushed
yeah.
everything back.
Well, they didn't really lose to Smash. Smash was always a Sunday like game, wasn't it?
No, but like in terms of like viewership and like the overall like entries and tournament, Smash Ultimate kind of overtook Evo.
I mean, that's also going hand to hand with there are other better. Well, I don't want to say better fighting games, but like there are more interesting fighting games to play this year other than Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball was the hot shit last year.
Yeah, that was like the game of tournament. Like the match between Sonic Fox and Goichi last year, like when they had the two cells doing their scream, like the cell scream, and the whole crowd did it. That still gives me like goosebumps just watching that. That's super exciting.
And like the Shenron summoned by Goichi is still like up there as like the Evo 2018 highlight. I think he summoned it twice in the run. I remember him doing it once in the finals, and he almost did it again too.
Nothing can ever top the why are you standing up moment from Guilty Gear.
Oh my god, that Ogawa or what's his name? He will never live that down.
It was Ogawa, yeah.
Anyway.
It's so good. But joint game I actually was not very interested in watching.
Smash.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but you're not wrong. But Samurai Showdown, I honestly could not get into the viewing experience for it.
I thought it was super hype. The top 8.
I didn't see the top 8, so that might be my problem.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't watch the top 8.
Yeah, but just watching pools, I was bored out of my mind.
Oh, the game is very... It's different compared to other games.
But no one... It feels like no one in pools, at least, does anything. It feels like there's just a lot of waiting. Whereas in, like... I assume for the higher levels, you're seeing, like, smarter plays and better spacing. Like, at least for a lot of pools, it's just one person sitting on one side of the screen, and then the other person sitting on the other and just throwing the odd fireball, then just doing a really dangerous jump in.
It's still a new game. That has to be it. At this point, like Sam Show is a game, from what I could see, is that it's very punish heavy. Like, if you make any mistake, they'll, like, the other player can and will punish the hell out of you. I mean, obviously you watch the pools, but if you go look at the top 8, anything with Kazunoko in it, he can just punish you with, like, hit confirm into the weapon, like, de-weaponing, like, the super thing. And he lands that consecutive lens insane.
Yeah. So I take it you enjoyed watching Samurai Showdown.
I mean, the only downside I thought it was, like, there's too many Genjuros in the roster, but then again, he's, like, really... Well, he's OP / like, really, like, well-rounded in terms of, like, his kit. So I can see why people pick him.
Super popular.
I mean, Justin Wong, like... he finished 3rd with Tam Tam of all things, but then again, Justin Wong's like spacing and like footsie god, so I wasn't very surprised. But
he's also the Turtle King.
Sam Show was hype. I was like this close in buying the game, but then I missed the sale and it's like full price right now, and I'm like, I can't afford it.
That sale was a pretty weak sauce sale too.
$64.99 isn't a bad sale. That's like decent for like a new game.
Compared to like the other, like on Steam when they're selling Street Fighter 5 and like all the DLC for like $20.
A game that came out years ago. Sam Show came out like 2 months ago or something.
Yeah, but they're still selling like all the DLC at full price, and they even had deals in the DLC.
Oh, come on. Like,
I expect a little bit more incentive. Like, it was $50.
I think we only feel that because we're Canadian and like, you know, the obvious price fluctuations of motherfucker.
Yeah.
Wait, can I swear on stream?
You can, as long as you're fine with that.
Welcome to the fucking podcast.
Oh, shit.
We have 2 viewers and 3 viewers. I love that. Anyway, so Dragon Ball was on Saturday, which really felt out of place because usually Dragon Ball is on a Sunday, and that kind of signifies, like, you know, the Evo is ending kind of thing. But there was like a whole day of a tournament to still watch, which is great for me. And I loved the fact that Smash was last. That means all the games... I mean, I still kind of watched Smash in the end, but I didn't have to stay up till like 11 a.m. or 1 a.m. to see everything finish.
11 a.m.?
Or 11 p.m., sorry. Messing my mind.
Dang, you had to stay up real late for Evo.
I mean,
Next day.
Europeans have to stay up get up that early to
Yeah.
watch it.
I gotta say, I kind of want to touch upon Smash because I kind of jumped in during grand finals,
Of course you did.
and that might have been the most flaccid grand finals like I've seen for a game in a long time.
What? MKLeo brought it back from the losers.
Yeah, but he won so soundly that it was like depressing.
So this means he's good. I love a
No,
good
no, he's great.
ass
I'm
kicking.
not saying any disrespect to him or Tweak. I guess he's Team Liquid now. Team Liquid's Tweak.
No, TS. Isn't Tweak
TSM?
TSM?
He might be TSM, Team Solomid.
How
I'm
can
not
you
sure.
get that wrong?
Because I don't really follow Smash anymore.
TSM Tweak, sir.
Yes.
Pokemon trainer.
TSM Tweak. Yeah, which it's cool. It's cool to see him play so many different characters, but it was just like such a thrashing. It just felt like the crowd was completely drained by like the time they started the reset bracket.
And also he won with Joker, a DLC character.
Who there's some contention about Smash DLC characters, particularly from Smash 4.
I mean, isn't this like the first time where a DLC character won a tournament?
Bayonetta.
Like, it doesn't happen very often. Maybe in Smash.
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta wasn't DLC though.
For 4 she was, and she ruled the
was she?
game.
I thought she was like a
Yes.
default roster. Oh no, she was a default for
She was the last DLC.
Yeah, that's stupid. Only
And
in
she
Smash.
literally every tournament finals, if you wanted to be competitive, was Bayo versus Bayo.
Mm.
And that's why people booed when Smash 4 had its last run at EVO.
I find
then
it
the
really
two players
surprising that
just stalled.
the community actually boos you for having your game featured just because you see characters that you don't like.
I mean, it's like that with Jigglypuff in Melee.
I don't get that. Oh, I kind of get that hate, but at the same time, I don't really get that hate.
It's
I mean, it's a character in the game, so like, what's wrong with it, right?
Yeah, but the difference is you're dealing with 14-year-olds versus like 20-year-olds.
Hey, man, I know a lot of upper adults play Smash. A lot of my
They do.
Focus. A lot of my
focus.
friends actually made out to Evo like this year and actually competed in Smash. There's a lot of
yeah?
like retired
How'd they
esports
do?
players.
How'd they do?
I'll drown in pools.
I was gonna say it's a pretty big pools to drown in.
It's like a 6,000 player like tournament, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna drown anywhere, it's in that
Yeah.
pools bracket.
I mean, shout out to the whoever ran the bracket and judge for Smash, because I wouldn't want to do that seriously,
Would've been
especially
smelly.
hearing that Evo only compensates you like in like free food and possibly a ticket to the final days, because that's what was leaked for volunteering to be a judge. That's kind of ridiculous.
I'm sure a lot of the judges are already people who were gonna be there anyway, though.
I mean, but still, like a
But
bit
they're
more
there for the love of it.
compensation
It would
might
be
nice.
cool if they actually got paid,
Mhm.
or like they got some other form of compensation outside of just food. But food's, I guess, for a venue like that is kind of a big deal, because I imagine it must be pretty expensive to put out food there and host it all.
Yeah, especially out there right now. Las
Yeah.
Vegas must be pretty expensive in terms of like the what do you call it?
For what, like renting a venue?
No, like the general cost of things in Vegas. Because if you think about it, California, LA is like really expensive, like rent, food.
I don't know if
whatever.
Vegas would be as bad as LA. LA would be the worst by a mile.
By a mile. All right, moving on. Did you watch MK11, sir?
No, because NetherRealm games are kind of boring to watch.
Top 8 was fucking hype.
You're gonna say that about every top 8.
Actually, well, I'll get to it, but MK11 was actually hype for once. Because I didn't really watch the MKX tournament, but MK11, from what I could watch, actually, it's like a lot of strategy involved where you play to a best of 5, which means you have to win 3 sets. And then there are times where players literally pick the counter to each character when they lose, and they go back and forth. I like those aspects in like fighting games where you can actually choose an option to like give yourself an advantage rather than just sticking out with like one character throughout the entire set. That's why I like Nii from Tekken so much, like just kind of jumping all over the place. But Nii and other Korean players know how to play like so many characters that just because you know how to shut down his Steve per se. He can just come out with like other shit.
Sure. So
But
you're saying Injustice 2, this is not?
no. Apparently, Injustice 2 they had like counter pick as well, didn't they?
But I remember the early tournament scene had a big problem with zoning characters.
Oh yeah, like the whole I think it was Aquaman BS, right? Or in the
It was
Superman
Aquaman. It was like Red Hood or
Arrow.
somebody like that.
I mean, it got better I think over the years.
It was Deathstroke. That's who it was. Deathstroke. He had like gun juggles he could do. And that's the one clip where the guy throws his controller down on the ground so hard, like bounces up and hit the other player.
I think I forgot her name. Who's the Jackson Briggs daughter? Jackie Briggs, yeah. Remember? Remember
same initials.
Now remember MK10 Jackie Briggs without like the gun shooting?
Yeah,
like you literally couldn't get close.
Yeah, different shots. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that would kind of repeat in MK11, but Jackie right now is like really up there in terms of like the tier list, I think, because she was like one of the more common picks in the tournament from what I could see. She was picked a lot in top 8 with Cassie Cage. Damn, I don't remember half the characters' names.
It's because half of them are new.
Oh my god, who's the immortal black dude?
Frick. I didn't actually play 11, but I know who you're talking about. He's the guy with all the time powers.
Yeah, like he was also
Carrick? Is it Carrick?
Garrus. No, like
Garrus.
No, that's Mass Effect.
Garrick?
No, that's not Garrick. Anyway, movie. Anyway, like obviously the top 8 was, again, if you watch from pools, it might not has been as hype, but like if you're looking from top 8, the combos that the actual players do are like seriously insane. You can do a setup where you freeze them in time and you like charge up your arm, like the black time dude. He charges up his hand, and when he does a specific string in another combo, it like blows them up with like more additional damage. Like that was crazy. And like you said, I'm not really that hype in like NetherRealm games. Like traditionally, I was more like Street Fighter, so I don't really watch.
Well, then Street Fighter became hella boring to watch.
And then like I think
Did you watch Street Fighter 5?
We'll get there. Fuck. Okay. I'm just gonna end this saying like.
Also, Geras. By the way,
close enough.
Like Geras.
Geras, is up there. Anyway, this is personally for you. You should watch MK11 because MK11 is actually fun to watch. Mostly because Sonic Fox is fun to watch.
That's because that guy's just good at fighting games.
I think MK11, if they actually support it, might become another like a Sunday game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is of like traditional 2D fighters. It's probably the most popular in terms of like mainstream popularity and overall player counts.
Yeah. And they're pushing like the esports side a lot, I think, because they're hosting like an online tournament on the PlayStation Network within like the few weeks to get more people involved. And I wish other fighting games actually did this. I know Tekken did this before, where I think it wasn't hosted by Namco, but people actually, run their own online tournaments on the side.
Yeah.
And seeing actually the publisher or like Sony sponsoring these events, I think it's a good sign moving forward. And I wish more games would do this. Maybe SNK. Who knows? All right. I'll be very honest. I only watched Street Fighter V because I heard there was a great production error they made.
Oh.
After the finals.
Worse than their leak?
Okay, before this, I need to ask, do you know the Steve Harvey meme?
No.
Okay, so what happened was, I think it was either the Miss USA or the Miss Universe pageant. Steve Harvey was the host.
Okay.
Now, they're down to the final 2 contestants, and obviously, Steve Harvey gets the letter and goes, your Miss USA or Miss Universe is this person, right?
Mm-hmm. He said the wrong name?
In front of everybody, in front of national television, he said the wrong person's name as the winner. And they put the crown on her and everything. And then he got the notice that he got the wrong envelope or like the wrong name. So he had to like revert back and be like, no, wait. This person is the actual winner. I am very, very sorry.
So what happened in Street Fighter?
So so what happened in Street Fighter was, well, after everything was over, let me just get the results for you. Because
you don't know who won.
Sorry, I only paid attention to Tekken. I'm very sorry.
You only paid attention to when a disaster happened.
When the disaster happened and my country literally fell. Okay, so actually, I should remember this. The winner of this year's EVO 2019 for Street Fighter V was Bonchan. Bonchan
Right.
finally won a tournament with Sagat
Hooray.
and Karen. And then second place was Adele, aka Big Bird. And third place was DC Infectious. Now, why am I telling you who got third place? So what happened at the announcement was they announced Infectious as the grand champion of EVO when it was Bonchan who won it. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal if they, just said it out loud. People can make mistakes. But you know how EVO has a big backdrop in the back? Like a gigantic screen?
Oh, no.
EVO 29 champion is Infectious! And everybody lost their shit, and Twitter's like, oh, the third place winner comes back from the win to win grand finals.
What was his reaction? Was he just like, what?
Everyone's like flabbergasted. Like, wait, what? I mean, it was funny, but it was like after like everything was over kind of thing. So I think people just played it.
People
cool.
already knew who was supposed to be the champion because
yeah.
it's pretty definitive in a tournament.
I mean, the guy who's sitting at the end must be first place, right? Wrong. It's the guy who's standing in third place,
Oh,
but
man, that's
it's adding
so bad.
to. Yeah, I thought that was bad.
That's really bad because that's like so many people down the chain got it wrong.
It's like
Unless that was a script they're supposed to follow, and it was Infectious was supposed to win.
Oh, Bonchan didn't follow the script. He ruined everything. It's supposed to be this guy. He's supposed to win everything.
Don't you know fighting game tournaments are rigged? They're all fake, just like wrestling.
Yeah, why do you think Sonic Fox wins all the time? Nah, I'm kidding.
It's
Sonic
to build
Fox
up
is
his
good.
storyline.
But I mean, I can understand why that happened because I'm assuming they make all the necessary graphics beforehand for top 8.
Yeah,
because it'll take too long to make it on the spot.
Top 8 gets one, yeah.
And sometimes production gets it wrong. It happens to the best of us.
Yep. Sometimes you misspell someone's name, and then you have to edit that post live stream.
I have a funny story to tell about my people. So
That's vague.
English is hard. Very hard.
Difficult.
Very hard language to learn. And in other languages, one word, translation of a word, can mean different things depending on the translation. Take, for example, the word beach, the place you go during the summer. Where you play.
Thought you were referring to when people fake call someone a bitch.
I'm getting there. So the word beach also sounds like the word bitch in a way, depending on how you pronounce it, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, especially with an accent.
Now, this is not by any means definite way of doing things in Korea, but the way you write beach, like the sea beach, and how you would actually write the word bitch phonetically is kind of the same. Now, this department store had a thing called a summer beach festival in 2017, and they made a huge banner for it, to promote the event. But it was in English. Guess what happened? Welcome to the Summer Bitch Festival of 2017.
Holy shit.
I have visual proof of this. I'm not making this up. I have visual proof. If I was a better in production in terms of podcasts, I could just bring it up right here or something, but it is true, believe me. Anyway, speaking of Koreans, Tekken 7, which I hope you watched. Did you watch it?
Yes, I caught up. I did my homework.
Okay, good. All right, Tekken 7. Oh my god, Tekken 7 was also stupid hype. Like this Evo, like all the games at this Evo everything was great in terms of just the
All the top
games
eights were
themselves.
so hype.
Just the games themselves.
Because Andy.
You go watch MK11 and go watch Sam Show and tell me they're not hype, especially for Sam Show. Like holy shit, I literally
All
sat
right.
down like just to wait for laundry and just watched the whole thing in the end. Maybe I'm gullible. I don't know. Anyway, Tekken 7, which I said last week would be, kind of textbook where a Korean player would win everything. But no, everything changed when the Arslan attacked. And your grand final winner for Tekken 7 was Arslan from Pakistan.
That's actually freaking awesome. So I actually remember watching a tournament highlight with him from a tournament in Pakistan with the Tekken World Tour.
And you know what the craziest thing is? In an interview, he said that there are players better than him in Pakistan. And that
I could believe that.
and he also said that Knee's fighting style, which is kind of like representative of how Korean players play, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They run into those so often that they're used to it. Whereas majority of the NA players or even the European players kind of have like trouble with because Knee flip flops between characters as like counter matchups, and the obvious like the movement and like knowing the frame data, like what punishes what, all that fun stuff. Knowing that there's a whole nation of people used to that kind of fighting style, just waiting to like come out here, kind of gives hope. Like Tekken, like the next season might be really hype, depending on how many like tournaments that Bandai Namco and the Tekken World Tour decides to open.
Especially if they decide to help sponsor some of those players or help them get sponsors to fly out and join those tournaments.
And even like having more spots for the TWT in in that area in that region. Like let's say let's take away from some ones from like the Americas and put them in like over there. It might actually make things more interesting and would make Tekken a more global game than any other game.
It would make it
now.
probably the most global fighting game
next to
sure.
Street Fighter, but that has like a pedigree of like a lot of international players.
Yeah, but from what I recall, wasn't the Tekken 7 top 8 like the most diverse? Like there's people from all over the world in this bracket.
Oh yeah, let me bring the bracket up, which I have right here. Where is it? All right, Darren, sing some tune while I'm loading this thing.
I will remember you.
The fuck?
I don't remember the song outside of those lyrics. It always plays at every funeral, though, and it's always very sad. My condolences if anyone listening had to go to a funeral. That's rough.
Also, this Google image change is killing me. Actually, it wasn't as diverse as you think it is.
I might be thinking of a different tournament, too.
I think you're thinking of Street Fighter because that one was super diverse for once.
It might have been. I was checking through all the different Evo channels, trying to find a particular game, and I might have stumbled upon a point where one of the announcers was just like, "Hey, this is like the most diverse top 8 I've like ever seen. This is crazy."
All right, Tekken 7 bracket. Takia from Japan, Anakin from USA, Knee from Korea, Arslan Ash from Pakistan, Nobi from Japan, Lohai from Korea, Chikarin from Japan, and Noroma from Japan.
Wow, a lot of Japanese representation. That's awesome. You don't normally see that, like to that extent in Evo.
There's a lot of killers in Japan now, especially like the Yamasa team and the what's it? Yeah, the Yamasa team where Nobi and Taki is in. There's a lot of killers in there, and I think you'd like Taki. I think he's
Probably.
another. What's your favorite character?
In Tekken 7?
Yeah.
Some toss up between in terms of like me to play as or me to watch.
No, who do you play right now? I just forgot the character's name at the moment. All I could think was
Kazumi?
annoying, but yeah. Oh my god, Kasumi.
The poke god queen,
Yeah.
the frame trap queen.
She's like unstoppable right now. I think Take plays her. But
I also
her
like watching good Geese players.
and Geese were amongst like the most picked characters, so.
Yeah, they're super strong right now, even though Geese just got nerfed.
Yep, nothing's stopping the Geese train. And I hope season 3 changes actually make things better, or keep them the same. I hope Kasumi's frame data changes. Like, holy shit! Like, what's that with her doing like this shit, whatever? Like that thing like kills everything. It, like stops everything. Like
It's
it's the
she's
most
fun to play.
annoying. I haven't seen Nee like not do anything just because he knew he was getting like outpoked by Kasumi. Like that's how crazy that is.
Yeah, I mean Tekken 7 is, I think it's the most consistently fun game to watch at Evo. I think it was probably the most exciting top eight, even though I haven't seen all the other top eights. I think it's fair to say just based off of crowd
Hypocrite.
reaction and hype. But the thing is, it's always been so fun to watch. Like the game's just built to be like the one of the most hype spectator fighting games. Like with all the slow motion camera work, the crazy ass combos and wild comebacks. I don't think any other fighting game has the comebacks of Tekken.
MK11.
I
Sam,
don't know.
that you didn't watch Sam show.
Hey,
You
Sam
gotta
Show's a
go with
game where
Sam
you do
Show.
like one button and they lose like a quarter of their health.
That's a comeback.
Tekken,
What do you call that?
Tekken is, I'm talking like someone has one magic pixel and they just do a crazy ass combo that does like 70%.
Go after this. Go watch Sam Show top 8 or even like the top 4. Anything with Kazunoko in it, you gotta watch it.
Anything, just watch him. Just don't watch anyone else. Skip through everyone else.
Kazunoko is super hype.
No, he's great. He's a great player. He's fun to watch. But Tekken 7's great, and everyone should watch Tekken 7.
Anyway, so overall, like that's the tournament I watched. I didn't have time to watch the Eunice tournament.
I need to watch that.
I looked at the Soul Calibur 6 top 8, and of not surprisingly full of Japanese players. And not surprising to see a lot of Mitsurugi's maxis and yeah, Ezreal.
Mitsurugi's pretty good.
But overall, the tournament-wise, I think again another great year for tournaments. A lot of good moments. But why do we watch Evo, Darren? What other reasons do we watch?
We watch it to celebrate and to be excited for the continuation of fighting games and new fighting game announcements.
Now, do we want to start with our favorite announcement, or do we want to work our way up?
We can't start with the favorite because it just is so much better than everything else.
All right, let's start off with the smallest of news because we haven't seen anything.
Mortal Kombat 11. Nothing's changed.
Nighthawk's out and Patch is out, but apparently, well, whatever. Dragon Ball, Janemba's out, and they showed off Gogeta, and they actually had
God Super Saiyan Gogeta.
Gogeta SSG SS got actual gameplay, and not to anyone's surprise, he had moves from the actual movie, which Darren and I were pointing out. That's going to be a level 3 super in the game.
Yeah. When he does the one, it's like the big cross explosion. It's like, I think that's only on level 1.
Oh, I think it is.
But it looks like a super, and it's like perfectly recreated like everything in Fighter Z. And they showed off Janemba. Janemba's cool. He's not really a character I want to play.
He has a full screen sword thing, and you can like combo that into vanish.
And he's got a bunch of like Kid Buu-esque. He can hit you across the screen with normals.
You know, for those who aren't very initiated into the side Dragon Ball story, like me, for instance, can you briefly explain who is Janemba? I know who he is and what movie he is from, but I never actually watched that movie.
He's from Fusion Reborn, which is a movie that's meant to take place like halfway through the Majin Buu saga, but it can't actually happen because it doesn't make any sense to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, there is a guy who works in heaven, in the other world, which is where in Dragon Ball, if you die, your soul goes to if you're good, or if you're bad, you go to Hiffle, the home for infinite losers, or hell, as it is known in the Japanese version.
Okay.
In the original dub, it's called like Hiffle, to not be hell. And essentially, there's a guy who has like a bunch. It's like where all the worst souls go to get reincarnated.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a really terrible person, you go to hell for a little bit, and then you get basically reincarnated. They recycle your soul, and they try to reincarnate you to make you a better person in your next life. whereas people who are good get to keep their soul and they get to basically live forever and do whatever they want in another world. And there's a guy who's managing the machine that does this, because apparently it's a machine in the afterlife that does this.
Yes.
Go with it. It's Dragon Ball. And he accidentally hits a switch, and all of the worst souls get mixed into one being, which is the giant fat Janemba.
Okay.
And then essentially Goku fights him as Super Saiyan 3, and then he like transforms into the super sleek looking one with the sword and just kicks the crap out of everybody. And by the machine exploding, all of the villains in Dragon Ball Z get to leave hell, and they go to Earth and start screwing shit up. But the best part is that all the characters from Dragon Ball Z are like super powerful at this point because they're during the Buu saga.
Right.
Whereas all the villains are just the same. So Gohan like runs up and like one-shots Frieza. Like the Frieza movie kind of had a reference to this when he one-shots Gohan.
Yeah.
But like in the movie, he literally punches Frieza and he just explodes.
I think
and Hitler's there.
Yeah.
And Hitler's there, and the two Goten and Trunks fight him and fuse to beat his army of Nazis.
Yes,
which is actually there.
Nazis go to Japanese hell.
No, it's Earth hell. It's like universe hell.
Anyway, so I'm guessing
and
since
then,
it's called Fusion Reborn.
You have the first time appearance of Gogeta, where Goku and Vegeta do the fusion dance.
Mm-hmm.
And in the actual movie, Gogeta is literally there for 30 seconds. He throws that one ball attack, which is called like the Soul Destroyer, and he just throws it at Janemba and like instantly kills him.
Like the Broly movie in a way.
Not quite.
He was there for 5 minutes.
But he fought the whole time, and it was like way longer than 5 minutes, and it was super hype. Whereas in this, he literally shows up and kills him and is just gone.
The Deus Ex Machina Z.
There's also this really cool shot of where he's standing and he just slides on the floor towards Janemba, like he's not moving. He just appears, but while he appears, there's like punches in the air, but he's not moving, and Janemba just takes like 30 hits.
That just sounds like lazy animation tactics.
No, it looks cool. I'll show you a clip later.
So
actually, you could put up a clip because we're live right now over on Last Blues, twitch.tv/Last Blues. If you want to see the podcast live when it happens.
Yeah, I'll figure out production later where I can actually play video clips.
Yeah.
It'll be more hype.
But the point being, Janemba's kind of a one-note movie villain who's kind of been popular in the series because he's been in a lot of video games. But as for like a character, the personality, he has none.
Now, he was supposed to be, because they always release DLC characters in pairs, I assume he was going to be released with the game Dragon Ball GT Goku. But they got released one at a time. Now that kind of messes up with the release schedule.
It almost looked like they were going to pair Gogeta and Janemba because they have a finisher together.
Yeah, and then like Broly's next, and he's like the last one. Do you think they're actually... Whoa, that's bright. Do you think actually going to like continue with the support for Dragon Ball FighterZ after this, or like a season 3? Or are they done now?
I could see them doing it. It honestly depends on how many people are still playing it, but it's obviously good enough that, and it's maintained its hype that people keep watching it and going to it.
I mean,
but I think people are getting ready for I think people are ready for a sequel.
Dragon Ball FighterZ XR Rev 2 GT? No.
Fighters Zar 2.
All right, moving on to the DLC list. I want to talk Street Fighter, but they got their shit leaked a week before EVO, so everyone knew about it going in. And I feel very sad for Capcom employees, and especially Ono-san. Well, I mean, the thing itself wasn't like, oh my god, like this is like the greatest announcement ever, but still, like,
yeah,
leaks aren't fun because like you know what's gonna happen, and people are not gonna tune into it. And this is apparently Steam's fault because they accidentally like posted it too early or something. And they also did this last year with Kage's announcement too, apparently. I can see you
Yeah,
watching the
it's
video from the reflection in your glasses, you asshole. Pay attention.
No, my glasses, they deceived me. And I shared it down there for you.
Anyway, Lucia, Poison, and E Honda.
Honestly, for me, this does nothing. I don't care about Final Fight. They've been pushing Final Fight super hard in 5. They have a bunch of characters from Final Fight. I think E Honda and Poison are cool. Lucia seems like a very far-reaching pull. And
She actually looks the most fun out of them all.
probably she's probably the most interesting, but like I said, her inclusion doesn't do anything for me. I would rather see someone like Dudley or other characters from Street Fighter make an appearance. Like I don't play 5 anymore. I tried like years and years ago. I tried really hard to get into it back when like Urian came out. And I'm just so done with the game. And I feel like just a lot of people have moved on.
No, they haven't moved on. They're still playing it. Because that's
But I
where
feel
the
like,
money is.
but yes, but I mean like a general player population.
I mean, even if 5 is not as good as people want it to be, I think everyone still is a Street Fighter player in like at heart.
Yeah.
Like, you can't deny that. They also
I mean,
announced
it's a classic.
They announced a new. Well, they're announcing a new announcement. The announcement of an announcement in November. So hopefully, when Darren stops clicking on videos in the YouTubes, they will announce hopefully something. Now, given their track record, they announced Super Street Fighter 5, and logic dictates they'll probably go Ultra Street Fighter 5 before even
I
putting a
honestly
curtain over this.
hope they just say Street Fighter 6 because I feel like so many people are done with 5.
I bet you they're gonna go like hipster and just be like Street Fighter. Not even a 6, just Street Fighter.
I
So
don't
many
think they can
companies are
pull that
doing
off.
that these days. No, it's
They
just a
can't pull
remake.
it off. It's too many games. There's too many games. They can't pull that off.
It's just gonna be Street Fighter, revolutionizing the Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
You gotta hold the buttons again to do stronger inputs.
All right, moving on. Soul Calibur.
Now this had some cool announcements.
This game had very faithful members of the community that it warranted Bandai Namco Team Soul to introduce a season 2, whereas they didn't really originally plan it. So kudos to the Soul Calibur community for loving the game so much.
Kudos to Namco for making a really kick-ass Soul Calibur. I think it's honestly the best one.
I hope they change the mechanics a bit so it's actually a bit more entry friendly per se.
Okay, good scrub.
I think this has to there's a lot of mechanics in the Soul Calibur compared to like the other games in the series. So it is a thing.
Extent,
like
I feel like it's pretty comparable to 2.
I will not deny this is also like a case of like putting the time into it, but so like compared to other games where the barrier of entry is somewhat lighter and lenient. Like what's making someone go play Soul Calibur over like Sam Show or Tekken?
I mean, Sam Show is it's a very niche game. Soul Calibur's niche in general, but I think it has like more casual. It can still work for an entry level just in terms of like button mashing, because that's how literally 90% of people who've ever played Soul Calibur played it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot going down at a higher level for like in terms of parrying and then like characters' mechanics, like the ring out, different types of moves that catch you when you're moving horizontally, stuff and like frame data. But I think that's true. I think Soul Calibur 6 is easier than something like Tekken in terms of like higher level picking up combos and how to read people and seeing stuff like that.
Speaking of samurais, we got an announcement which I did not expect as much.
I don't think anyone expected this, even though these companies have collaborated like last year.
Coming in season 2 as a guest character is Haomaru from Samurai Showdown for Soul Calibur 6.
It makes a stupid amount of sense for him to be in Soul Calibur.
I mean, I guess he's better than having what's her name? Naokoru? Nakoru. Narokoku.
Try to say it all Japanese like.
Narokoku. Anyway,
Nakaruru.
yeah. So Haomaru is in Soul Calibur 6, which a guy with
I wonder how many people
sword.
will confuse him for Mitsurugi.
He almost the same exact moves too, like the
They have like
spinning
the same
sword. Thing.
silhouette. If you like were to just make them have silhouettes
Yeah.
and just put them like overlapping, they would look so similar.
Even their critical art's kind of similar too, like that two-handed slap. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks really cool, and I'm really down to try him out. They also announced Cassandra, who is the sister of Sophidia, and she's a fan favorite primarily from Soul Calibur 2 and 3. She's in the game. She's out now as part of Season 1. And the video announcement for that, unfortunately, was incredibly glitchy and slow. But it was cool that they just did a, hey, she's out now, which they also did with Janemba. Just like, hey, he's out now.
Adding to the list of mistakes that Evo did. I heard they had to like reset the video like a couple of times just to get it right or something.
Yeah, it was particularly rough. But I'm keen to try to get back into Soul Calibur. I actually reinstalled it over the weekend. So I'm down to see if my boy Nightmare is still fun to play. And hopefully Homaru is out soon.
Haomaru.
Homaru is out soon.
Also, Cassandra became Captain America with all the shield throwing and the catchings.
She's always had that, though.
But it looks more cool now. Somebody made a Captain America skin and they made Zalismal like Thanos. And just had him like go at it. I was like, yep, this is what Soul Calibur's for.
That's great. This is what it's for.
It's what
all
it's
the custom
for.
characters.
All the fan fictions can be realized now.
Hey, you have 2B in there.
Oh man, I you know who Kayane is?
Who?
Kayane.
Kaine?
Kayane. The French Soul Calibur player.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say like Kaine from Nier, and I'm like,
No, that's Kane. Kayane-san. She did. Oh my god, I'll send you a clip later. But during pulls, she did this 1-2B combo that guarantees a knockout. I was like, holy shit. That was hype.
That must make people salty.
He was
as
at
hell.
full health too. Anyway,
That's why you love Soul Calibur. That's a game with crazy comebacks.
if you call it ring out, it's like, oh, you think Samurai
it's part of
Samurai
virtual
Showdown burning 70% is like dumb? I think like ring out is dumb.
Yeah, but to get to be ringed out at that high of a level, you have to make a lot of mistakes.
I mean, even then, I mean,
At low level, it's very easy to bait it and to trick people who don't know. But at higher levels, you generally, it's harder to fall for because you know it's coming.
I think it's a higher chance of me flipping over the stage as Taki than actually getting thrown, but still.
Yes, especially when you don't know what you're doing fully.
I remember doing like a full like sparrow dive into the water playing against you that one time, and that was hilarious.
That's great.
Moving on.
It's a cool announcement, and Namco Bandai, still ruling the fighting game world, also had some exciting announcements for Tekken 7.
But before that, another Unist announcement. Under
I thought
Night
we were just
in
gonna
birth
go Namco
EXE
Bandai.
late bracket CL-R bracket
How do you say this?
Lickler.
Oof.
Well, it was supposed to be late.
There's
Under Night
ST.
latest, and this is like
Yeah.
Latecl, LATECLR late
Liquor.
Lickler remix. I really want
know.
to talk with whoever comes up with these titles. I want to give them a medal.
I know. I want to hide them in a basement so they can't do that anymore.
And which means we have to pay another money to get this version because the late ST version we have is now obsolete, isn't it?
Yeah, but this probably won't be out for a while yet.
Nah. Anyway, I will let Darren introduce the next segment.
The one that I was so elegantly prepared for, and by looking at your document, should have been the next one in order. Tekken, so Harada himself, the man who doesn't want you to ask him for shit.
I want that shirt.
I know that shirt's freaking great, and I love that he wears it. He came on stage. He told everybody that the Soul Calibur delay was all Ono's fault from Street Fighter producer. He pretended to walk off stage like 3 times.
Yeah.
Which after the first one, I was like, all right, you can't pull this off again. And then he tried to again. He announced another Tekken tournament. He also announced season 3, which includes, it seems to be some pretty big changes across the board. Like every single character in the game is getting new moves,
I mean,
which
this was a thing in
that's
season 2 too.
yes, but I don't think everyone got new moves though.
Yeah, they're the properties changed. You wouldn't know because you don't play all the
They had
characters.
properties changed, but they're also getting brand new. They've never had moves before.
I think it's adding like different like rage art options because they were talking about that.
Based on what they showed, a lot of it looks to be like just new, like strings, just like a new button combination.
Yay, maybe the characters I like won't be shit anymore.
Maybe Arbor King will be good now.
Maybe Noctis will actually be decent in tournaments at least.
No, go to Soul Calibur where you belong.
Maybe Nina will be also good. Actually, Nina's still good. I just can't do her strings for the life of me. Because goddamn, she's hard.
Her easier, but like I'll be curious to see what the changes are. Obviously, we don't really know a lot at the moment. They also showed off a returning character from Tekken 6, Zafina. I believe she's supposed to be Egyptian.
Yes, sure.
And she's connected to Azrael,
The Soul Calibur villain? Yes, he's also related to it.
Well, is that the name of the weird evil force in Tekken 6 that Jin basically puts himself in a coma to defeat?
Yes.
And then he wanders the desert in Tekken 7 randomly until he's found and all that. Anyway, I don't really understand her story and how she's connected to that evil, but she's pretty much only been in Tekken 6, right? She was in Tag 2 as well?
She was in Tag 2, yes. But then again, Tag 2 is just a dream team, so it doesn't really matter what happens there.
But she hasn't really had that many appearances.
No, she started out in 6 as like a gatekeeper person.
Yeah. And then now she's there with a crazy demon hand, channeling some strong Velvet Crow vibes.
Which I dig.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see how it works, because it looks like it just sets you up for some unblockables and potentially like maybe a command grab. I'm not really quite sure based off the gameplay.
A lot of armor moves I found with her, which means Kasumi can suck my dick. Anyway.
Now you just gotta use moves that are fast enough.
But Darren.
Or that break.
Who cares about Zafina when we got a whole original character?
Leroy Smith.
Jenkins.
A boy who traveled the world 50 years ago to get revenge and learn martial arts.
He comes back and has learned Wing Chun of all things and beats up all the Chinese.
Channeling some strong Ip Man.
He just comes back and just beat up all the Chinese people. How do you feel about that?
Well, he beat up every martial artist in the
Chinese martial artist.
Yeah, but that's the point of Wing Chun. It's supposed to be like the ultimate like Chinese martial arts, and it's certainly like in terms of like pop culture, it's like probably one of the more represented ones.
Now, how do you feel about? Okay, question. Have you watched Boondocks?
No.
Ah, shit, this makes no sense then. Okay, there's a character named Stinkmeaner in Boondocks where he's a blind old man, and the main character's mistaken him for some like he's also blind, and he gets his ass. The main characters gets their ass kicked, and the main character's like, "Oh my god, he must be some kind of blind samurai person. Like he's like all his sights are like heightened." So they're saying like, oh, it's basically him coming back. So basically what happens in Boondocks is he gets his soul trapped in hell, then he comes back, and then they send him back again. Yeah, Boondocks is funny. I'll link you to the thing.
The fuck?
Boondocks is funny. Anyway.
I thought it was about like street gangs.
The point is, it's basically him coming back to beat all like every single Tekken character. But that being said, as an original character, I think this guy's really interesting because you can obviously tell he's blind if you look at his like eyes close. I know he wears sunglasses, but if you look at the character art, you can tell he's blind. And he does Wing Chun.
He looks cool.
He's
looks
a Ruli.
Cool. I like the martial art. I'll be curious to see what he actually looks like in gameplay.
I bet you he plays like Wang.
Maybe.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh great, they put Wang back in the game. Oh wait, he's black.
Do you know what I kind of hope we get from this? We get a fan mod where they swap out the model for him with Donnie Yen.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
And it's just him doing like that.
Man, we're gonna
Like
find
1,000
like the model
slaps.
from. He sounds-
People made a Keanu Reeves one and just added that to Metal Gear Solid 5 and just swapped out the model.
Maybe they got it from the Cyberpunk demo. I don't know.
That's impossible.
Anyway,
But yeah, Tekken 7 of all the games we've talked about so far probably had like maybe Soul Calibur rivaled it too for like the most exciting and new announcements.
although I'm kind of disappointed that unlike last year, I think they announced all the characters at once, didn't they? No. They announced Anna and they announced Negan at Evo. I remember that.
Yes, which took everyone for a loop.
So I'm kind of surprised they didn't go that route again where they announced another like guest character, because if you look at the announcement board they posted, there's not 6 characters this time. It's character, feature character, stage character.
Yeah.
So that
and
means
one
we're
of
not
them
getting
is a
6.
guest character.
Confirmed, yeah. So a lot of people
What's your
are
money on?
Tifa.
Really?
Final Fantasy VII remake coming?
Boo.
I mean, if you want to go the boring route,
What do you mean the boring route?
dude, you're never gonna get Kiryu. Give it up.
Give us Kiryu or Majima. Holy shit, that'd be so cool.
What's a fighting game franchise I haven't touched on yet? No, they got Geese from Fatal King of Fighters. Is it King of Fighters or Fatal Fury? I will say
Both.
King of Fighters. Okay.
Both.
So we got one from Final
Both.
Fantasy. We got one from Street
Yes,
Fighter. We got one
everyone's
from.
favorite fighting game series, Final Fantasy.
They made fighting games. What's stopping them
Uh-huh.
from bring a character from Soul Calibur?
Who would they bring?
Volt.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Like, what other franchise can you think of? I mean, we got freaking Negan, so I don't know what to expect.
They
anymore.
literally could pull anyone, and people have been on their case for so long and begging for Kiryu. Kiryu would make so much sense and be such a cool crossover to get Sega in the fold. And Sega's down for silly crossovers.
Yeah, why not just bring Sonic as a character?
No. No.
I mean, honestly, I hope for Tifa because, it will make a lot more sense marketing wise. Because what are you trying to promote
How
with
would-
Kiryu?
A new Yakuza game, which is in development. Hell, put Yagami from Judgment in there.
Not too much controversy.
Why is it too much controversy?
The whole voice actor thing?
That's a different person who had their voice swapped.
I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean,
Kiryu
like,
makes so much sense, and it would be so hyped to see him. And he has like the different fighting styles, and then in his rage art, his rage drive would be like just heat moves. That'd be freaking radical.
I mean, we already have a character that has different stances already.
Tons of characters have different stances. That's why I'm saying it would make sense for Kiryu to be there, and he would have unique stance with unique moves. And
know.
you could have Kamurocho as a freaking stage.
I mean,
Kamurocho, and then there's interactables in the environment to get like heat moves.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I wouldn't mind having Kiryu, but I really
Clearly
don't see.
sound like you mind.
I really don't see it happening. I mean, I don't really care. I don't even have all the guest pass like DLC characters. I only buy the ones I like, and I don't really care.
You only bought the worst one.
No.
Yes. You had to think about it.
Who did I buy? Like, what's wrong with Eliza? Anyway, I mean, I hope. Well, that means you only get one extra character. I bet you it's gonna be Ganryu, the last one.
It better.
It's either be Bruce or Ganryu. Because if you think, unique
Bruce
styles.
is not going to be a guest.
No, for the last, like the character slot. Because there's guest one and another one. Now we got Safina. And like, if you think about the Tekken universe, who makes more sense right now to insert them like story-wise?
No one makes sense story-wise because all the DLC characters don't have any story justification for being there.
Give me Jun Kazama. Give me Jun Kazama. Fuck.
She's dead.
She's always dead. She dies every single game.
I'll up you one. Give me Ogre.
Oh.
He's part of an alien race. They could just be more.
Yeah. Actually, that would make more sense, to be honest.
Yeah. That'd
Like,
be cool.
Canon-wise, like, maybe he's like, He's the one that Jin Kazama needs to team up with to save the world from Kazuya. I need to revive Ogre to like restore the
I need
balance.
to revive Ogre, the one who killed my mom, or banished her to the Shadow Realm or some shit.
To kill Kazuya, I need the help from Ogre to set everything right.
Oh my god.
That sounds like something like Tekken Universe would do.
Tekken's story is so dumb.
Like, think about it. Like, the Tekken 6 villain came back. Oh, what about Jinpachi? Maybe he'll come back.
He's been brought back. That's the whole point of 5. That was the Dark Resurrection.
Now he's back again. Darker Resurrection. I mean, who else would you bring at this point?
I'd just bring Ogre.
Seriously, Ogre is the only one that actually makes sense now. Because everyone else was just like guest characters. Like, we got Lars already. We got Dragunov already. Eliza.
I'm sure there's someone I'm forgetting about.
Jun Kazama.
She's dead.
It's either her or Ogre. Like, who's going to take down Kazuya story-wise?
I don't know. It's not going to happen until the next game. It's probably just going to be frickin' Jin, because he's the poster boy.
What's it be like? Devil or Jin? Alright, so.
Devil or Jin.
We're not getting Kiryu anytime soon. At this rate, it's going to be like Christmas time. I bet you.
It's going to be a while. They have the whole year.
Alright, enough about Tekken. It's time to gush about our favorite game of the show. New Guilty Gear is in the works.
Oh, it looks so good.
The animations.
My god. The Guilty Gear existing already makes Street Fighter V look like ass. This new Guilty Gear puts to shame every fighting game that's doing 2.5D style 3D visuals. Holy crap, the stylized look looks amazing.
Kai has shorter hair.
Which, finally, I hated his frickin' Xrd redesign. I frickin' hated the stupid, like, Bishonen long hair look.
Also, why do the Soul and Kai always fight, even though in the storyline they're always like buddy and save the world?
They're like best friends, and Soul's like low-key his father-in-law.
Yeah, and they still always fight in the trailers. Like, they always hate each other.
They're rivals. They're the rival characters.
For what?
Yeah, but Ken and Ryu are literally BFFs. Ken literally feeds Ryu. Ken keeps Ryu from dying on the streets. Yet they always fight in all the trailers and all that.
I don't get that. Anyway.
They're rivals. It's competition. It's to see who's the strongest. It's heaven or hell. Red versus blue.
The new Guilty Gear will be playable at the Arc Systems fighting game tournament thingy in Japan, apparently. No, it's in America, sorry. Is it in Japan? Anyway. One of the tournaments, it's already playable, which like blows my mind. I guess that means a couple of years to work on this already.
I'm hoping early 2020, like maybe February or March.
Let's see. Tokyo Game Show, they'll show another trailer for sure. Maybe announced 1 or 2 more characters.
They'll probably show off gameplay, and then if they do, I could see it being as late as June, like by next Evo. I could see it being out. But I feel like they'll have a quicker turnaround for it.
I say April because they probably want to start rolling it out before the combo breakers and CEOs. I bet you, if anything.
Or they'll just have it there as demoed, and have a demo tournament. But it looks so freaking good. I can't overstate this. Anyone who's any remote interest, like any form of crazy good-looking animation or just super cool-looking anime fighters, like holy shit. Please look at it. Does it have a name, or is it just called New Guilty Gear title?
Just Guilty Gear, which I told you, everyone's doing that these days.
No, but we don't know if that's the official title.
Watch it be.
I'd be disappointed after how weird they went with Xrd Revelator 2.
They announced Xrd as Xrd, I think, at first.
Xrd sign.
Yeah. But this time they're saying Guilty Gear.
I think they're saying that right now because they don't have a title yet.
It's like Samurai Showdown going back to Samurai Showdown. It's confusing all
the SKUs. That's different. Samurai Showdown's been gone for like 15 years.
So?
Guilty Gear's been around since like what, 2015 now?
That's a bad excuse.
No, but it's a name. It's different from a hard reboot because the series wasn't dead. it's active right now. It makes no sense for them just to call it Guilty Gear if they have a game called Guilty Gear Xrd that came out like 2 years ago.
I mean, if it's just a reboot, why not?
But it's not.
You don't know that.
I am assuming based off the story of Guilty Gear Revelator 2, where matters are not fully resolved, that is not.
Where is Axl Rose? Where is he? Where's Axl Lowe? Where is he?
Axl Rose?
Axl Lowe. I just said Rose because he's referenced to Axl Rose.
He's in the game.
No, after Rev 2, he just... Did you even beat the game?
I didn't beat his story.
Oh my god. Well, you know what happens though, right?
To hit Axl? No. Anyway. He plays fighting games with a story, nerd.
You don't even know what happens, and you're like, oh, it's not a reboot because this happens in the story.
It's me. No, but it looks super cool though, and I'm excited that Kai, who I play as, doesn't look like a stupid Bishonen trash prince.
Now he looks like a K-pop star. I love it.
Now he looks like how he did the old games, but cooler.
I love he ditched the long coat for a shorter jacket now.
I like the black shirt.
Hopefully there'll be a costume where his jacket just comes off and he's like his arms show.
I mean, he had the only mechanic in Xrd where he changed during the course of the fight, where you could break his hairband and then it changed the music.
Did you notice like the animations show so much like curves that I thought their swords were curved at some points? Like, oh, they got new weapons.
Like all the camera movement. Yeah, it's just crazy exaggerated. It looks so good, and they showed off a new character.
Who people believed it was Leroy Smith from Tekken. I was like, oh, he's in this game.
There's straight up some similarities in their base design. They both have dreads. They're both like relatively quiet-looking, stoic black men.
Black men?
Because there's two of them.
Yeah. What if this is Leroy Smith and he just goes blind in this Guilty Gear game and goes into Tekken?
For that crazy helmet he has?
I mean, he must be like part of like that. Well, you don't know the story, so. Sometimes Darren, I wish you actually, played the fighting games for the story.
No.
But no.
Play to win.
You barely win anyway. All right. And that was all the announcement. Except one more controversy. People thought Solid Snake was going to be in Tekken because they showed a video after, I think it was during the top 8 of Tekken, of a Kodak conversation between Harada and Solid Snake saying, and Snake was saying, that was some good ass Tekken. And everybody was fucking confused as to what just happened.
So random. They didn't there's no relationship there, and they've never hinted. So maybe Solid Snake, but voiced by David Hayter, or maybe it was just on Fiverr and Harada paid David Hayter for just to say that.
Oh, you don't know this good, but I scoured the Twitter, so I know what's going on. So first of all, David Hayter, Harada, Bandai Namco didn't know this was going to happen. They were surprised as well.
Harada was surprised?
He didn't know about this. Neither did David Hayter.
Didn't he record something for that?
He didn't do it. He literally posted on Twitter that he didn't know about this, and he had to go back to Japan and explain what the hell just happened. Because apparently, this was a joke made by the Evo, the staff. Meant to just push it off as a joke. And now people thought literally because it actually got David Hayter's voice, kind of. Without his
someone
permission.
did pay David
No.
Hayter
He didn't know about it either.
Fiverr.
No, he didn't know it.
No, but he voiced it.
No. How do I say this? They probably got something, but he wasn't aware it was going to be used like this, That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but he still recorded, hey, that's some good ass tech. Hey, Harada, that's some good ass Tekken.
And
he recorded that at some point. That's a little disingenuous in a way.
And then all of them was saying Evo, never do this again without our permission. Never do it again.
It's also the case of it's bad press for the game because you're gonna get people's hopes up and they're gonna be all mad at the company going, why did you lie to us? And it's we didn't make this announcement. It's not actually us. It's mischaracterization.
Yep. And then Evo came out saying like, we apologize. It was supposed to be like a funny joke. We apologize to everyone involved. Blah 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 blah.
Well, you think they would run it by Harada because he's there?
No, it was a fun joke.
No, but you think that the people who plan this go, oh, we have a good business relationship with like Tekken and Namco Bandai. We should probably run it by like their representative before we do this stupid joke.
Maybe just thought of it on the spot. Who knows?
That's a really risky thing to think on the spot, though. It's pretty stupid.
Oh, then everyone was pissed about it, obviously.
Yep.
And then Twitter exploded because half the people thought Snake was going to be in Tekken.
Yep. Especially with that guest character slot still open.
I would rather have Snake than Kiryu.
No. No. Why are you such a freaking party pooper? You want Tifa and all she can do is punch people.
What does Kiryu do?
He has beast mode. He can throw people. He stomps on their face.
Tifa freaking German suplexes things and like somersaults kicks things.
She dolphin blows people.
She bitch slaps things. You can't beat that.
Way better. Oh my god, it's not even a contest.
Anyway. So I will end this on a fun question for you. Is Evo that important of a tournament in terms of, if you look at it from the standpoint of the community and for publishers?
I think from a community standpoint, it's still the go-to premier tournament just because it brings in the numbers. Mm-hmm. And obviously they get the announcement still. So I think for the community side, it's still really huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, the tournament numbers also speak a lot for the competitive side as well, in terms of it being viable for a lot of the competitive community to show up. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they have had year after year, like breaking numbers for how many registers they get in different titles. So I think it's still like the go-to premier tournament, but I think it's also a case of other major tournaments are rising in prominence as well, to the point where it's starting to blur the line a little bit. But I think purely from like a numbers standpoint of like viewership, the marketing, how heated everyone gets over the announced Evo games and all that, it's still the premier fighting game tournament. Although, because so many of the major titles have their own world circuit, that also kind of blurs it a bit.
I agree with all those points, especially the bigger games having their own world circuits now.
Didn't Sonic Fox win the Dragon Ball Z tournament? Like the world tournament for that?
I thought Kazunoko won that.
Kazunoko might have won that. But that also begs the question, who's the better player? He won the Dragon Ball Z like exclusive event. Sonic Fox won Evo last year. Like, who's the better player? Is Goichi the better player because he won Evo? But he won it kind of blurs that line, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not definitive. Like you could look at Evo in previous years as he won Evo, he's the best in the world.
Yeah. I also want to add, like every year there seems to be like more problems with Evo, especially there's more cases of like sexual harassment cases that happen, like the after parties, which you probably don't know.
Mm-hmm. I read about one of those cases.
Which goes to show that, and also, you know who Pokchop is, right? Pokchop, the Tekken player. And apparently he was like filming himself like getting hype in like the top 8 in like the top of the crowd stands, and Mr. Wiz told him to shut up and sit down or he was gonna kick him out. And he got that on camera, and that also kind of stirred up like a lot of heat amongst the community, saying like, you know, Evo used to be started out like at someone's garage, but now it's more like they're just doing it for like the esports money or something.
Well, now it is esports. Yeah. It's a lot bigger and higher stakes than someone's garage. So
in terms of community, of course, this might be just like I'm just reading off on the minority, you know, of the entire community, but people are, I think, leaning more towards the not as big Evo tournaments, but like growing bigger every year, like Combo Breaker or CEO, And I think in the near future, I think those two tournaments might be like the next, like the quote unquote world tournament next to Evo. Like Evo's not the king anymore. I mean, it'll still be like
At the
the
very
king for
least,
the
has
next few years.
competition.
Yeah. If anything, I think
mean-
CEO might be the next, like the premier tournament to win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like just generally, the best case scenario for the fighting game community is that all the tournaments get raised up and they all become more prominent, and that just puts more priority to compete and to play and to be out there in the tournament scene.
I wish there was more tournaments in Canada.
Canada Cup is the kind of all we get.
I mean,
I could have won the Soul Calibur one.
we got Toryuken and Canada Cup and Vancouver Street Battle occasionally. They have like monthly Okizame tournaments, I think. But it'd be nice to have another premier tournament in Vancouver because like the new esports stadiums that's getting built for like the Overwatch stuff by shady Chinese people. I think having, I mean, the venues there, why not like host tournaments? Like host out like the Red Bull tournaments there.
Yeah, but it's in Richmond.
And people don't know where that is.
That's far. It's far away.
It's Vancouver, whatever.
It's not. It's farther than Vancouver.
It's closer than... Anyway, not talking about geography. And that's all the Evo news we had. It was a fun 3-day tournament, although Darren didn't watch. I only watched a couple because we're too busy these days.
Bits pieces. Also, we forgot something. They announced King of Fighters 15.
I did mention that.
I don't recall because we did not talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about. They just announced the logo.
It's cool that King of Fighters isn't dead. Hopefully this one's better.
Why would it be dead? 14 did surprisingly well. It did better than 13 apparently.
I can't believe that. I don't want to believe that. No. 13's like so good.
Yeah, it was good, but people didn't buy it.
But who bought 14? There's so much bad marketing and press for that game.
Don't ask me.
I mean, I bought 14, but that's because I just like 13.
That makes no sense.
I want there to be a 15, so it's like 13.
Well, now you get 15, and it's probably still going to be 3D, but with better visuals, hopefully. At least you get a 15.
Can you imagine if King of Fighters 15 looked like the new Guilty Gear?
Like 2.5D cell shade?
Just shell shaded.
Shell shaded King of Fighters.
Yeah, I can't talk. It it just looked more stylized because that's the thing about the pixel art games. They look stylized. 14 looks flaccid. It looks flat.
Gameplay's good.
Yeah, but you got to have visual flair. We know that. That's
I mean,
the key to success. Like that's Mortal Kombat's claim to fame is that it looks really good. Tekken 7 looks really good. Soul Calibur 6 looks pretty good.
It's not on Unreal, okay?
Just go to Unreal. Every other fighting game in the world's on Unreal.
SNK has no money.
Brothers.
SNK has no money. They put
Unreal
all their money in
doesn't
Samsho.
cost that much money.
How do you know?
Because I could buy a license to make a game in Unreal and it wouldn't.
No,
be that
I mean
much.
make everything in cell shading. I doubt they'll just give I know they may. If anything, it'll look like the Sam show.
At least that's a more stylized look.
And then everything just looks like Sam show.
That's better than everything looks like King of Fighters 14.
Wow, you really hate that game.
I don't hate the game. I just hate how it looks. It looks very boring and flat.
Speaking of looking bad and flat, the perfect transition to our next topic, since we're done Evil Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, a new slew of information for Pokemon Sword and Shield got announced. And this one is a doozy. We finally got our rival and the quote-unquote our villain gang, I guess. And also a couple of new Pokemon. And following the tradition from Sun and Moon and the Alolan forms, we got Galar forms of Pokemon. And you know what we got, Darren? We got Galar, Zigzagoon, Linoon, and a third evolution for Zigzagoon. Aren't you happy about that?
Obstagoon.
He looks like a hoodlum.
He looks like a British gangster in like the 80s? Question mark.
I mean, at least. Oh, wait for it. We also got Galar Weezing. He's a
Holy
fucking
shit.
bong hit.
He is a gentleman bong. He is Doug Dimmadome wheezing.
That has to be like just chimney, right? Or is it literally a bong? What is that even? It's a chimney, right? Like
A
factory
funnel,
chimney?
like a chimney. It's supposed to be that, but it looks like a bong, or he looks like Doug Dimmadome because he has the mustache.
Dimmadome.
Yeah.
Doug
Holy
Dimmadome.
shit.
Doug Dimmadome.
When I saw the wheezing, I thought it was a fan-made like joke. Because that's what it looks like.
I mean, after seeing Alone Executor, are you even surprised?
But Alone Executor like looks stylized to a point, whereas the wheezing, there's something about like the mustache and the bong hat that just makes it look not real. And then I see the 3D model, and I'm just like, oh my god, no.
I also kind of find it weird at playing off the like a stereotypes.
I mean, that's what Pokemon does.
I guess, but it's kind of weird.
In their tropical region, they literally had a moving, living, like palm tree Pokemon.
I mean, this is kind of playing off the like. It's supposed to be based off of Scotland, right?
United Kingdom, Britain in general.
So they're playing off the fact that people like to smoke over there or something?
I think that's more referred to like the coal factories, like back in the 1800s.
And like the villain, they also kind of
the
look like
Industrial Revolution.
The villain, Team Yell, dumbest name. They kind of
holy shit! How did we take such a step back from frickin' Team Skull?
Team Skull. I guess. Oh,
Team Skull was pretty amazing.
I have a question for you after this, but I mean, Team Yell, they kind of represented like the British, like UK punk rock band fans back in the day. Kind of.
I guess.
They're really flashy, if anything.
Yeah, but Team Yell's a lame gimmick.
Rapid question: who's your top 3 favorite villain team names?
Like just based on the name alone.
Just on the names. Not their Pokemons, because everyone Pokemon.
Team Rocket is classic. It just works. I also am a fan of Team Skull because they're trying to be so hard to be edgy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Team Plasma sounds better than Team Galactic or Team Magma and Team Aqua are terrible names.
You and my list are exactly the same, except I would put Plasma a bit higher because it sounds cool.
Yeah. And then in terms of actual villainy, they're probably one of the better teams too.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Team Skull, who are just these lovable idiots.
I
hope just say yo 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 all the time.
I hope Team Yell are lovable idiots and not just like rowdy soccer fans.
Well, just like the name alone doesn't inspire confidence. It's kind of giving me flashbacks to X and Y and Team Flare.
Oh my god!
Like where it's just like literally, that's just like we're these stylish, we're flary. Look at our flair because we're stylish. That's kind of what that's screaming to me.
The Team Yell. Every team must have a leader, and their leader is also just a trainer. They're supposed to be like the fan club for. Damn, what's her name? That's the shit.
Bede?
No, Bede is the like some weird prick-looking rival. Apparently, like has some ulterior.
On top
motive.
of the other rival you have.
Yes, I just forgot her name. I wrote down the Pokemon name by mistake. Hold on. Sing a song for a second while I find this.
Did everyone see Hamtaro now in Pokemon as Morpeko?
Morpeko, and he has the best mode in Pokemon history.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's stupid.
I love it. Hangry
it's
mode.
So dumb.
Jesus, that's the best.
In like a year after that game comes out, that joke's gonna be dead.
The Pokemon also looks like me on a daily basis, but like always angry and hungry.
Then no wonder you identify with it.
Hell yeah! All right, the trainer's name is Marnie. Marnie, Marnie, and Team Yell is her bestest fans. I actually like that aspect, to be honest. Like it's not some like
a weird fan group.
Yeah, it's not like a weird wacky like. Because they're playing off the whole gym thing as like a soccer match, right? You go into stadiums and like there's crowds everywhere. Like gym mechanic isn't like new, but like the whole they're playing this aspect of like it's kind of like a sporting event, and having like
And they're
Team
just
Yell.
crazy sport fans.
Yeah, I like that aspect. I mean, the team name is still dumb, and like the color scheme I don't really like, but
I think it'll depend on execution a lot because right now, everything I've seen for it, I'm like, my initial reaction is like, yikes. But if they pull it off, it could be really funny and charming. Because Team Skull at a glance, like when that was being revealed, I was like, whatever. That sounds generic. And then you play the game and you read their dialogue, and it's like hilarious.
I will laugh if there's like a sequence in the game where like Team Yell like suddenly just like rushes to the stadium and like disrupt a match or something, like actual like
Just throw food at your Pokemon.
boo. I
Just
mean,
a beer, just an empty beer bottle hits your giant Pokemon.
I actually like the designs for the rivals.
Yeah, they look fine.
Like as a
Like
rival,
the gym leaders, maybe outside of the weird guy,
what's wrong with
look
them?
okay. Just the guy that looks like he's a robot. He's a boy piloting like a robot suit. The guy at the hat.
If it's actually like that, I will laugh. It's like
That's what it looks like. His head does not match with that body. It's so weird. But I don't know. So far, everything I've seen of Sword and Shield doesn't really instill me with confidence.
I mean, they made B look like an actual person I hate already, just from the looks. I mean, that's a rival right there. But yeah,
Maybe.
a lot of people are very mixed about all the like the news, like the whole national dex not being part, all the like the Dynamax stuff, and now this stuff.
There's a lot going against this game's favor. And it's also seemingly a continuing trend of Game Freak not kind of picking up with the times. So we'll have to see.
I mean, it's a Pokemon game. People will buy it, and that.
But in the same universe, you have Yokai Watch, which has already been HD and in 3D since its like second entry, and it has like 700 OG original ghosts, and it looks better than Pokemon Sun and Shield. So like, there's now competition,
Did you say
especially
Sun
in the
and Shield?
Japanese market. Whatever, Sword Shield, Sun and Shield, Moon and Sword,
Moon
it's all
Sword.
the same.
Dude, Moon Sword,
Every
Sun
Pokemon
Shield?
game is the same at the core. Like, I know this. We all know this. Just the way of the world.
I hope the final villain is some gigantic Dynamax Pokemon that's like a size of like a sky, like the world, basically.
I hope. I don't actually have any hopes for that. Dynamaxing looks stupid. I don't like it.
Well, hopefully we get some more promising news in the future because this game releases soon, doesn't it?
It's like in November, October, isn't it?
We're only like 3 months away.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And we don't really know a whole lot. And it looks like Mega Evolutions are dead.
Yep.
And we're going to keep with the form gimmick, which I'm fine with different forms and different variants of Pokemon. But I'm just kind of bummed that Mega existed just to die.
Are we keeping like the Z moves, do you think?
I don't know. Is there going to be G moves?
I mean, if you look at the TCG, we're just starting to get like the Z Crystal as cards now.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're in a weird. The TCG's in a weird spot for that.
I
It's just getting
think it might
tagged.
continue. Because if you think about it, Dynamax plus Z moves.
What about? I'm gonna one up you. What about Mega Evolution plus Dynamaxing plus C moves?
Nothing in this world can
Do
contain
you
that much
just
power.
destroy a city at that point when you use that much power?
Wouldn't you just like destroy the world? Because you have something that's like, almost bigger than a planet at that point. Look at Rayquaza. He was the size of a freaking.
Like, I mean, what if you do Mega Rayquaza, who's Dynamaxed, who does a Z move?
You'd probably just blow up this moon.
Like, that's what I feel like is the only outcome. Like, it's so weird.
Like if you look at Kyogre and like Groudon, they're supposed to be like. I also don't understand the aspect of like these are gigantic monsters and you can fit them in a little ball. Like
They're
space-time
pocket
technology
monsters.
for the stupid ball can contain a
It
gigantic
absorbs them
monster.
to a pocket dimension.
Doesn't make some
It
sense.
turns them into digital data.
What are they, Digimon now? Ugh.
They've always secretly been Digimon. Because Digimon technically existed first.
That's a depressing note to end on. No, I got a more depressing note.
Oh no.
Darren, When are you going to play Fire Emblem? Three Houses.
When I can do more than one battle in a row and not have to do like 2 hours of schoolwork.
Sounds like my kind of game, to be honest, because I love like Valkyria Chronicles 2, and nobody did.
You're one of the fucking weird ones. Valkyria Chronicles 2 is so freaking dumb. It's got good gameplay, but holy shit, everything in that game's dumb.
Like
hoo-ha, like the laugh he does every 2 seconds.
That's the reason you hate it.
Honestly, go back and play the first 3 hours of that game. He does that laugh probably like 30 times.
Oh, you mean this? Haha!
No, he's doing that pose when he goes, ha 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 ha, and it's like that track. And the game has a stupid story. It loses all the wartime seriousness. It reduces the scale of the gameplay in a way that's not conducive to the series at large. And it makes me sad because the first game was really cool. That third game was pretty cool. And so was that fourth game.
You're saying it like
that second game. That second game buried the series in North America for like almost a decade.
Yeah, it was okay. It was too good. It was too advanced for its time.
It literally did so poorly. We didn't see another game for like 10 years.
It was too advanced for its time.
And then, Valkyria Chronicles 3 came out and made a better game out of the gameplay from 2.
Hey, you see how good the Three Houses is doing?
Story.
If Valkyria Chronicles 2 released now, it will be selling like hotcakes.
No, because you can't date anyone in Valkyria Chronicles 2. There's no tea time.
No, there's like whatever. I mean, did you even play all those games?
Yes.
Did you play 2?
All of them.
You owned them?
Yes.
How'd you own
I
3?
all of them. I found through a lending link.
Sure.
With the English translation patch.
Sure you did.
On my modified Vita with custom firmware.
Before we get shut down by Twitch. Alright, this has been the first ever live stream episode of the Gaming Blues podcast. Surprisingly, that went well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully this streamed okay, and hopefully I can just use the VODs and straight to YouTube, so I don't have to do much editing.
That would save you primarily a lot of time.
All right, time for shoutouts and plugins. Do you want to start on your stuff you're doing?
Sure. I've been active on Twitch recently. I'm hoping to stream at least a few times a week over on twitch.tv/The Gaming Pilgrimage, which is also coincidentally the same name as my YouTube channel, which maybe at some point in the near future could have a video on it.
And you can also follow him at The Gaming Pilgrim on Twitter for all the updates.
It's actually just at Gaming Pilgrim. There's no the.
Whatever. Me wise, I actually got all the equipment I need because I'm into playing games that nobody cares about. So I will be playing through very quickly within the coming weeks. I'm gonna try to beat all the Gears games before 4 comes out.
What? You're right. No one does care about those games.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the random plug by Microsoft, being like, "Oh, look at this guy! He's going through all the Gears games."
Oh my God! Someone's streaming Gears.
Somebody send them an Xbox One so I can play 4 and 5. Speaking of which, can I ever
PC?
Is 4 on PC?
Yep.
Are you serious?
I think so.
Or otherwise, I'll just jack your Xbox One.
It's not mine.
But yeah, I just got the Ultimate Edition for the PC at a really cheap price of $5.
It's that price for a reason.
And I play through that, and it's more dumber than I remember, so it's going to be fun playing through that. And I also have
games that is aged like mud.
And I have 2 and 3 on the original Xbox, and I got the components so I can stream it without lag. So hopefully the next week's plan is just like beat it as fast as I can and just make fun montages out of it. After that, the podcast will always resume on every week, midday, Wednesday or Thursday. Darren will be joining me probably. And hopefully we can figure something out to do joint gaming streams sometimes. You can find me... Shut up. It's not my turn. Oh. You can find me at Last Blues on Twitter. You can also find me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Last Blues. It might be hard to find me because I don't really stream much. Don't confuse me with the other gaming blue channel, I think, you can notice me by my pixelated avatar. You can also find the VOD for this podcast on youtube.com/no. I don't have a URL yet, but you can look me up at Last Blues, all one word, on YouTube until I get a dedicated link. But apparently you need 100 subscribers for that, so we'll get on that, or I'll get on that.
Or you can go to my channel and find the playlist there too.
Yeah, just give Darren all the love. You can find this.
That'll go to you. That'll go to you.
All the podcast is available on Spotify, Google Play Music, Apple iTunes, Podbean, and also on Stitcher when they feel like adding me, but not yet because we're not that big enough. But I will have the last laugh where I get the Microsoft sponsorships.
I mean, someone's got to play those games, right?
Hey, it's a good trip down memory lane. I
Hopefully.
mean, shooter. I mean, it was the pioneer for the cover shooter, so why not? I mean, if everything fails, I'll just go to streaming like other PS4 games. A lot of PS4 games I've stopped. Yep, that one's gonna be a doozy. So if you want to laugh at people that sucks at Bloodborne, stay tuned for that because, my God, this is my first Souls game in like a long time. I'm pretty sure Darren will get a kick out of it, but
probably.
We'll see. All right, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Gaming Blues Podcast, episode 11. I was Andy, and to my left is Darren.
And I was Darren.
Not
next time. I was.
All right, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll stream again. Now, how do I shut this down? Let's see. Let's try this.
You press the stop recording button.